Everyone, welcome back. Let's talk about what we might see in episode 4 of Sevdiğim Sensin, because this episode looks like it will become a major emotional turning point for the entire story. Up until now, the relationship between Erkan and Dicle has been shaped by pride, misunderstandings, and feelings that both of them tried hard to deny. But episode 4 seems ready to break that balance completely. The story begins pushing the characters to a point where they can no longer hide what they truly feel. One of the biggest developments is that Erkan may end up divorcing Dicle because of the pressure coming from his father and the expectation that he should marry Bersin. This decision creates the core conflict of the series, the struggle between love and family expectations. Erkan's choice shows that he still lacks true independence. Instead of following his heart, he hides behind responsibility and logic, convincing himself that he is doing the right thing. In reality, it feels less like a romantic choice and more like a decision forced by social pressure and family obligations. The emotional consequences of that decision hit Dicle the hardest. When she learns that Erkan has accepted the idea of marrying someone else, it completely breaks her emotional defenses. Earlier in the story, Dicle appeared proud, distant, and careful about revealing her feelings. She tried to protect herself by acting strong and reserved. But in this moment, when she breaks down and cries for help, we see how fragile she actually is. That vulnerability becomes one of the most powerful dramatic elements of the episode because it allows the audience to connect deeply with her pain. Her heartbreak isn't just about losing the man she loves. It's also about feeling unvalued and easily replaced. However, what makes this episode truly important is that Dicle's collapse may also mark the beginning of her transformation. The entertainment night scene seems to be the symbolic peak of the episode. When Dicle appears as the most beautiful woman of the night, it's not simply a physical transformation or a typical makeover moment. Instead, it represents her rediscovering her confidence and recognizing her own worth. It follows a classic romantic drama theme where the woman who is overlooked suddenly becomes impossible to ignore. What surprises Erkan isn't just how she looks, it's the realization that he never truly understood her before. The shock on his face shows that the real change is not Dicle's appearance, but the fact that he misjudged her all along. This moment also shifts the story's focus away from a simple love triangle and toward deeper character development. Erkan's decision to move toward marriage with Bersin creates an emotional void that will likely grow into guilt and internal conflict in future episodes. Meanwhile, Dicle's transformation signals that she is no longer a passive lover waiting quietly for someone to choose her. She is beginning to become the central figure in her own story, someone who understands her value and refuses to remain invisible. This change strengthens the romantic tension in the series while also giving the female lead greater dramatic importance. Overall, Episode 4 feels like a turning point where relationships begin to change direction and the characters' true personalities start to reveal themselves. Although Erkan's decision may appear to close one chapter of the story, it actually intensifies the emotional tension. Dicle's confidence and presence at the event suggest that her transformation is not temporary. It signals that she will not step back anymore. At the same time, the episode highlights how unspoken love and delayed realizations can have destructive consequences. The longer characters suppress their feelings, the more complicated and painful the situation becomes. This creates a strong emotional foundation for what comes next in the story. At the center of it all, Erkan becomes a character trapped between his conscience and his sense of duty. Seeing Dicle's transformation may bring the emotions he tried to bury back to the surface, forcing him to confront the truth he has been running from. From the audience's perspective, this creates a powerful tension built around the theme of realizing love too late. Meanwhile, Bersin's role may become more defined as well. She begins to represent not just a romantic rival but also the expectations of society, family pressure, and the traditional order that Erkan feels obligated to follow. This makes the conflict far more layered than a simple jealousy storyline. By the end of episode 4, it feels like the story will have crossed a threshold. Relationships begin shifting, masks begin falling away, and the emotional stakes become much higher. Dicle's transformation highlights the theme of self-confidence and personal strength, while Erkan's struggle reminds us that love often requires courage. If the story continues in this direction, the most important question will no longer be who loves whom, but rather who will be brave enough to stand behind their feelings when it truly matters. Dyel's transformation strengthens the theme of self-confidence, while Erkan's decision delivers a very clear message: love requires courage. If the story continues in this direction, the main question for the audience will no longer be who loves who, but rather who will actually be brave enough to stand behind their feelings. And that is exactly what makes this part of the story so compelling, because Erkan's choices are not just shaping the present, they are also building the foundation of his future regret. The harshest effect of all of this is clearly seen in Dyel. When she learns that the man she loves has so easily agreed to marry someone else, it does not feel like ordinary heartbreak. It feels like a deep emotional shock, one that makes her question her own value. Her crying and asking for help reveal that, no matter how strong she tries to appear on the outside, she is still emotionally fragile underneath. These scenes have the potential to become some of the strongest moments of the episode because they allow the audience to connect with her pain in a very human way. At the same time, the transformation we see during the entertainment night could open a completely new chapter in Dyel's story. Her standing out as the most beautiful girl in the room is not just about appearance. It can be read as a symbol of psychological rebirth. For the first time, Dyel is no longer trying to hide her pain. Instead, she is turning that pain into power. That is what makes this moment so important. It suggests that she is no longer just a passive woman waiting for love to choose her, but someone who is beginning to recognize her own worth and step into her own strength. All right, everyone, that's it for today's analysis. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more episode reviews, theories, and spoilers about your favorite series, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, Series World, so you never miss the next update. Your support really helps the channel grow and allows me to keep bringing you more content like this. Before you go, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Erkan will eventually choose his heart and fight for Dyel, or will family pressure push him to marry Bersin and regret it later? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I read all your opinions and love seeing your theories. See you in the next video on Series World.